To begin our Faxination 2016 video education series, we're going to perform a baseline installation using the typical mode option. We'll do a separate video using the advanced mode option, but we'll arrive at the same baseline installation in both cases. Future videos in this series will build on this configuration, so we'll be using this as our starting point. Typical mode limits the host and device connector options to just the most common scenarios, and it requires the minimum amount of interaction from an administrator during the installation. Just for fun, we're going to perform the install in real time with an on-screen stopwatch to demonstrate just how quickly this can be accomplished. And at the end of the video, we'll send an outbound fax to test that everything is working properly. In preparation, we've already installed the Faxination 2016 prerequisites. The supported operating systems are Windows Server 2016, 2012, 2012 R2, 2008, and 2008 R2. Note that the original Windows Server 2008 was available in both 32 and 64-bit versions. Faxination 2016 is a 64-bit application, so only 64-bit operating systems are supported. We'll be extending our Active Directory schema. That gives us a place within Active Directory to store the per-user options and permissions for our on-premise Exchange integration. The Active Directory schema extensions can also be used with Office 365 and the Faxination SMTP interface. Now, in large environments with multiple domains, we recommend that the schema be extended 24 hours in advance of the Faxination software installation to allow time for replication between all of the domain controllers and global catalog servers. Today we're working with a small test environment, so we'll be extending the schema as part of the installation. We've created a service account for Faxination. We need the domain admin's role or the equivalent aggregate permissions for Active Directory integration. We'll need minimum Exchange admin permissions to create the gateway during install. We'll be using an existing SQL resource in the environment, so we have sufficient permissions to create and manage a database on that SQL server. If an existing SQL resource is not available, we have the option to install SQL Express 2014 SP1 on the local machine, and those files are included as part of the Faxination 2016 distribution. If you wish to use GhostScript for PDF conversion, you can go ahead and download the latest version and install it. There are multiple engines for converting PDF documents, but most of our customers are using GhostScript. The software is free, the conversion is fast, and the output from GhostScript seems to be the most accurate and consistent. Some document conversion methods will require the Windows Desktop Experience feature to be installed. You can find that in the Windows Server Manager under Features and User Interfaces and Infrastructure. And finally, very important, we're going to log into the server using the Faxination service account before we run the setup. A quick look at our Contoso demo environment. DC01 was our first domain controller and created the Active Directory for us. Exchange01 is an on-premise installation of Exchange Server 2013. SQL01 is a high availability SQL cluster in the environment. In this case, it's SQL Server 2012, but it can be just about any modern version of SQL. We'll be installing our software on Faxination01. And our telephony system supports T.38 fax over IP, so we'll be pointing our fax over IP connector to the IP address of the PBX. This could also be a digital media gateway or a SIP trunk. Okay, we are logged into Faxination01 with the Faxination service account. This is the launcher. See here we can either install the software or we can run the schema extension. So we're going to do the schema extension first. We're going to do a full schema extension. And you're given multiple opportunities to change your mind. And install. And as you can see, it's just that quick. Schema is extended. All right, launcher again. This time we are going to get our timer ready and go. Checking some prerequisites. Detected that SQL is not installed on the machine. Do you want to install SQL? No, because we're going to use one that's already in the environment. Right, we need to save the user license agreement, just accept the defaults. We are not going to activate the product during installation, and we're going to perform typical mode. We will do a separate video of the advanced mode installation. Okay, we're just going to accept the defaults. We're going to install the Exchange connector. That's the most common. What is not displayed here and will be installed is the print connector, because that is always included in every Faxination install. It's not licensed separately. And we're going to use the Faxination fax over IP device. We're checking for the prerequisites of the operating system. .NET Framework. All right, now we need to enter the credentials for the Faxination service account. That'll be used for the services. Here we need to define the SQL resource, which is SQL01. The IP address of the fax over IP gateway. Automatically detected our Exchange server. Checks for the version of Exchange. Summary screen, everything that's going to be installed, and it's automatically generated a 30-day evaluation key for us. And the actual software begins. This is the installation of the ActiveX controls. We use those for document conversion. Tools for the Faxination server itself, the generic document converter, the tools, Exchange connector, database tables in SQL, creating some services, and the kernel registry settings. Document conversion. Lots of registry settings there. Now, I should say that this is not a supercomputer by any means. This is just VMware running on my workstation, which is a first generation Core i7 processor. The machine has 4 gigs of RAM, but there's nothing special about it. Registering component data. This is things like DLLs and ActiveX controls. Installing the printer. Creating services for the Exchange connector. And now we're going to create the gateway in Exchange. Checking the languages in the Exchange environment. Installed the print connector. Creating services for our fax over IP device connector. Setting the start menu icons and shortcuts. And the product is activated with a 30-day license. We're going to turn off the view README, but we're going to run the Fenestre Server Administrator and start the services automatically. And as soon as all of our services are started, we will stop the clock. All right, that's it. Just under 6 minutes or so. And we have a fully functional Faxination server. But let's do a quick test to confirm that. I want to run the queue manager. The queue manager shows messages as they move through the server, both inbound and outbound. I'm going to create a new mail using the Exchange address space for fax. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello world. That's traditional. And then send. And we should be able to see this happen in real time. So there's our message that was received from Exchange, and immediately it's in process by fax device because there wasn't any document conversion to be done. It's also just a little bit of text, so it's a very simple image to transmit. It should happen very quickly. And even before the queue was refreshed, we had our notification in Outlook. We click on that, we get a delivery report. Your message with subject hello world sent to 1234. Operation completed without errors. Items sent, this is the number of pages, 1 page. Number of attempts, sent on the first attempt. Duration of 21 seconds, and the transmission speed was 14.4. And that's all it takes to install Faxination in typical mode. Faxination 2016 is available now. For more information or to request a free demo, visit us on the web at faxination.com, and keep a lookout here for more updates in this Faxination 2016 video education series. Thanks for watching.